Hey everybody, welcome back. My name is Cassie. I'm 51 years old, been on carnivore for over 2 years. I've lost about 80 pounds and I finally did it. I gave up the coffee. Welcome back to Carnivore Quest. Can you tell that I'm excited for today's video? Because I have some amazing results for you. Not only have I given up the coffee, but I've given up dairy as well. All the creams, sour cream, cream cheese, heavy cream, half and half. Since I was giving up the coffee and cream, I decided to go the extra mile for my overall gut health. So a few days after giving up the Java, I started taking Armour Colostrum. Colostrum is a bioactive whole food and its health benefits are backed by 5,000 research publications. It has over 400 bioactive nutrients including regenerative peptides, prebiotics, vitamins and trace minerals along with antioxidants. Y'all know about my past digestive issues. Well, I've been taking Armour Colostrum for almost a month and I've noticed a significant improvement in my overall regularity, and my energy level is just as good, if not better, than when I was drinking coffee. Because Armour Colostrum is a bioactive whole food, you can use as much as you like. I'm using 3 servings a day. A scoop in the morning, an afternoon packet at work, and a scoop in the evening. I just ordered a second tub for Larry because Armour Colostrum not only helps support a healthy gut and immune system, it's also great for your skin, nails, and hair. And my Larry has some serious dandruff. I told you, you gotta check that dandruff. You gotta check. If you'd like to try Armour Colostrum, there's a link down below at tryarmour.com/Carnivore Quest. That link will get you 15% off your order, or you can use discount code Carnivore Quest at checkout to get your 15%. And pro tip, I love to dry scoop it. That's tasty. So technically colostrum is dairy, but so is butter, and I haven't eliminated that either. Really, it's just all the creams, the sour cream, the heavy cream, half and half, like I said, etc. And the cheese. So much cheese. I could consume more cheese than any human possibly should.
Yeah, you wanna put that dish in your mouth. That's a lot of cheese.
So let's dive into the dairy a little bit. The amount that I was consuming was more than anybody should have. I don't see anything wrong with having a good quality cheese on occasion. And then I have this Sartori cheddar. It's a farmhouse cheddar. It's extra sharp and it's really rich. And I just like a rich, meaty, get it, meaty? A rich, meaty cheese. That smells delightful. Maybe take a little nibble. Or a nice cup of coffee on occasion. I mean, technically a serving size of coffee is 6 ounces. I would drink 6 to 8 13-ounce servings every day. So I was way over the recommended limit, and there are dangers in that. So here's a funny thing. I opened up Instagram this morning and the very first thing I see was an article about cheese. I learned that 90% of cheese contains GMO from Pfizer. Interesting fact. So I guess if you're going to consume some cheese, get it from Europe. And keep it to a minimum. When Larry and I first entered the proper human diet spectrum, we started with Atkins. That was over 8 years ago. And we were only allowed 2 ounces of cheese per day. And I made sure I had my 2 ounces of cheese every day. You know, since going carnivore and having the mindset that, well, it's an animal product, I tend to get a little loose with it.
That's a lot of cheese.
And I consumed way more than I should have. Same with my cream and coffee. And I think that was a bigger problem than any amount of cheese that I would eat. You know, dairy would tend to make me bloated and inflamed. I always had massive water retention every time I'd wake up in the morning, especially if I ate cheese at night, whether it was pork rinds and cream cheese or, of course, the late night cup of coffee, because when I had my coffee, it was all day, every day. I would consume up to 2 pots of coffee a day myself, and about half of a quart, if not more, of heavy cream. That's a lot of cream. And here's the thing of it. I've known it all along. And for some reason, I've just turned a blind eye to it. Maybe it was just a comfort for me to hold on to. I'm really not sure. I used to justify it that, well, I've given up pizza, pasta, breads, pastries, all the cakes, all the candy, things that I used to love. Well, I'm certainly not going to give up my coffee. Well, I'm here to tell you, I am 30 days in and I'm feeling amazing. Now, that's not to say I'll never have dairy and I'll never have coffee again. I'm planning to keep it to special occasions. It's going to be a rarity. If we're out with friends, if we're having dinner over at my brother's, we'd always have an evening cup of coffee. But I'm not bringing it back into my daily life. I'm just not going to do that. I'm not going to make the recipes with all the cheeses in it. If I do, again, it's going to be for a special occasion. Maybe once a month. I really don't know. I've went 30 days, so I guess I'm due for it, but I'm not going to let that happen because when I was dairy-free and caffeine-free for 2 weeks, I had 1 cup. And just like with any other off-plan or cheat meal, whatever you want to call it, it slowly crept its way back in. I've been a long-time coffee drinker. I've had it most of my life. And there was even one time I did a coffee diet because it is in fact an appetite suppressant. And that's one thing I've noticed since giving it up is I consume a lot more food. I have no problem putting down a 2-pound steak and going back for more later on in the day. So I can eat. My appetite has certainly increased. Now, I'm a little surprised that my weight hasn't dropped as quickly as I thought it would have. I thought I was going to see a significant difference. And well, that's not necessarily true. Since the beginning of February and doing mostly BBBE and now dropping the coffee and the dairy for 30 days, I'm down a total of 15 pounds. I am back into Wonderland. Oh my gosh, finally. And I'm telling you folks, I am not going back. I dipped down into Wonderland once before and I jumped right back out. I'm not letting that happen again. I am on an amazing roll and I'm going with that momentum. And that's the thing of it. Once you catch that momentum, don't stop. Don't stop. Just keep going. Ever since I left the food and beverage industry, I have no more temptations in my face. When I helped run the brewery and I worked for the butcher shop, there was constantly food being made and the aroma and watching people eat and enjoy this food and eyes rolling in the back of their head. For me, I can only do that for so long. I held pretty strong at the butcher shop, but at this last place, because I had to recreate a menu, it didn't work out. I had every intention on staying strong. I'm at my new job. I took on a role as assistant general manager at a brewery. We'll be serving beer, spirits, wine, and food.
No, 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 no!
Wine and the beer and the hard drinks, I am not concerned with at all. However, in my role, I'm going to have to taste the food. I'm going to test my strength here. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. I leave and I find another job. It's gonna be so interesting to see how well I can do. So many of our subscribers, they work in bakeries, they're in the food and beverage industry, they work for factories making food and they can take those types of things home. And so many have reported that they don't touch the food. I thought, if they can do it, I can do it. Here we go. Let's see what happens. I'm not feeling this job. Not at all. Too stressful. Too many temptations. But it just didn't work. It didn't work. I feel so much better. Like I said, the temptation is no longer there and I feel like I'm back in full control. Larry and I have had a handful of live stream sessions with Dr. Chafee and really, he is the one. Now, it's taken me a little time to get to this point, but it's because of him that got me thinking about the coffee and actually listening to him. One thing that I learned is people who are long-term coffee drinkers, well, ages 35 to 72 have a 53% higher risk of getting dementia. Think about that for a minute. Now, there are arguments on both sides of the spectrum. Coffee is good for you. Yes, if you drink maybe a cup a day, it is good for you. It's gonna help your short-term memory. It's gonna give you a boost. It's gonna give you all those dopamine hits that make you feel better. But if you were anything like me and you drank way too much of it, with the inclusion of dairy, honestly, if it weren't for the dairy, I probably would have never consumed coffee. It was way too much. And there is study after study after study about the negative side effects. You know, I was anxious, I was jittery, I did not sleep well. I used to clench my jaw all the time, and I thought maybe it was just stress. No, but I was constantly doing this. Larry could see the muscles just flexing. And I didn't ever realize that it was the coffee. Now, another thing, my mood is much more elevated. Like I said, I'm not anxious. Coffee, caffeine can negatively impact you in ways that you had never thought about. And you won't know until you give it up and start to reintroduce it. Now, I will definitely report back after I've had my first cup and let y'all know how it made me feel, but I have no intention on stopping. I'm gonna see how long I can go. 30 days, that's pretty good. I just did a hard stop. I dealt with the headaches. And this time around, unlike the 2 weeks that I gave it up last year, I wasn't fatigued. However, I had more headaches and Excedrin really helped. So if you're thinking of giving up coffee, I highly recommend it. You'll do yourself a world of good. And even if you don't feel any different, you really never know what's going on inside your body. In order for optimal health, your mitochondria needs to be healthy. And for me, being a cancer survivor, I know that that's going to impact my probability of survival and having a healthy life years down the road. So I highly encourage each and any one of you who have been thinking about it, because I know a lot of you have, and even if you haven't, think about giving it up for just 30 days and see how you feel. Go through the rough stuff. You know you have to get through the sour before you can hit the sweet, because the sweet ain't a sweet without the sour. So once you get past that and you see the difference, you're gonna have more stable energy all day. I sleep so much better. I encourage you to try it too. What do you have to lose? What do you have to gain? A little more sleep, better mood, and you don't experience that afternoon crash from the coffee, which is something that I always did. And what would I do? I would go back for more. And sometimes I would even get a quadruple shot of espresso, which is really up there in caffeine. So I cannot say enough good things about this past 30 days. And I look forward to seeing what the next, however long, once I have that first cup, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens. I hope some of y'all had a light bulb moment and consider giving up the coffee. Now, if you were like me, you'd say, I'm never going to give up my coffee. Well, I said that. I also said the same thing about cake. You know, I'm trying to lead as clean a life as I possibly can, and I'm succeeding. One step at a time, one vice at a time, and I'm feeling better than I have in decades. And if you're drinking the cream and you're eating the cheese, minimize that as well. I promise, not only will you feel better, your body's gonna thank you for it too. Y'all, thanks for hanging out with me today and allowing me to share my victory with you. And I hope maybe I'm able to inspire a few of you. So let me know in the comments if you've given up coffee or dairy or both, because so many people find inspiration and strength from the comment section. So help out your fellow carnivores who are struggling and just trying to find their way. Give your victory stories. And until the next time, my family, no sugar, no carbs, and no cheating. Love y'all.
Since we're on the subject of coffee, check out this next video where I destroy the dogmatic carnivore idiots.